Well, I figure I'd start a little bit early so this way I can make sure the sound's coming through. I hope everybody that's joining in. Make sure you subscribe, that way you can get in on the chat. Costs absolutely nothing, just to let you know to subscribe. This is to promote everybody to subscribe, to join in, to have fun, and so on. So we're going to wait a few more minutes and let everybody get in here because I know everybody's waiting to get in. So I do have the stream going, and I hope that YouTube doesn't become crazy on me today. But we are live right now. We're going to wait for everybody to come in, so just stick around. We will get to it. So get your soda, get your popcorn, get you a beer, get you something, make sure you're comfortable. Make sure either that or you got a blanket if it's snowing, or if it's raining, make sure you wear your rain gear, how all that goes. So let's go ahead and just, wait a couple minutes, let everybody get in. So usually the first 5-10 minutes, I let everybody try to roll in. I did state I was going to start this at 11, so this is just a warm up, startup for y'all to let you know what's going to be happening. So we're going to wait for it, so stick around. I got my soda right here. Long as YouTube doesn't play no games with me today, hopefully they don't, we should be good to go. God, I wish they cut that lawn every day. It's always the same thing. They got the buzz saw going on out there. Yeah. Let's see, what is YouTube barking about now? Let's see. Well, I'm not going to mess with it now. Says it streams in excellent condition. Alrighty. It's only 11:03 right now, just to let y'all know. Let's see. Check the settings on this. Audio. I have no idea what YouTube's barking about. Okay, let's go ahead and just get started. Turn the annex up. I was going to start about the thing about the cat video, but I'm going to wait to the end for that. I know y'all probably, I did a cat video a couple videos ago. Make sure y'all look at that. And I was trying to get y'all to guess what was the cat looking at in that video. And y'all leave me a comment below on that. We're going to talk about the driver updates. I got my note paper right here where we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the driver updates that is going on with AMD. Everybody had the discussion. I know I've made a couple videos on this. They're saying a lot of people were getting scared that the fact of AMD having botched drivers. I can tell you now, in the simple fact about AMD having botched drivers, that is not the case. From a couple sources that have got in contact with AMD has said there is no problem with the drivers. So the drivers are not the issue. Just to let you know, yes, we did get started. We're like eight minutes into the video, but it just started. And hello, everybody that just came in the door. I am watching, just to let you know. We're getting ready to go through the AMD drivers, and hopefully everybody comes in, and just to let you know, I downloaded AMD Adrenalin 23.1.2. I have it loaded, and I can show you all what's going on here. So we're going to flip to that screen. So let me go ahead and make sure it's set. Real quick. We'll just move this over a little bit. So this way y'all can see this is AMD Adrenalin right here, the 23.1.2. Okay. I put it into my PC, and as far as I can see, it's the newest driver for the 7900 series AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX and the 7900 XT. But I found out that it works with the Radeon. It works with the Ryzen 5 5600G. I would imagine it works with all the iGPUs. So if it works with all the iGPUs, then that's not too much of a problem. Alright, I do apologize about that. I had somebody ding-dinging my my tablet over here. I just didn't want to, get that all up on the video. But just to say that so far so good. I did make a video on the driver software. Just to let y'all know that, and I haven't done any testing on it, so we can all go together real quick and see what's happening on the testing. Now, I'm going to open up Furmark, and I'm going to test this really quick just to show you all that not having any issues. There, I'll just pull it right there for you. To y'all, it might look like it's lagging a little bit, but truth and reality, it is, because I'm running OBS and I'm running YouTube live streaming, so it's all on one processor. But as I can see, it's holding its own with no problem. So, no artifacting, no problem there. And that's a good deal. So, if y'all have any comments or anything, make sure you leave them in the comment section right there, because I will get to your comments if you leave them. But as far as the rumor that's going around right now about AMD drivers being botched, that's not true at all. Truthfully, the way I'm looking at it, they're not botched. They're not botched at all. It's just speculation. So, with it being a little bit of a speculation, don't think that, it's going to ruin your GPU. I have never in my whole life ever heard of drivers botching discrete graphics cards. I have never heard of it. Okay, but if it's a third party, something like, let's see, something like this here, this third party card, okay, this is an AMD card, okay, this is an AMD card. The problem I had with this was it was third party. They changed the BIOS. They changed the BIOS description in it and everything else, and they didn't put the BIOS together correctly. So more of a mess. Okay. So, more of a mess on, sorry about that, more of a mess on third-party cards. That card right there, I wouldn't really worry about it too much, because I'm sure you're not going to use the Fire Pro. I mean, that was the AMD Fire Pro 5400, which was converted by a different company by putting in a different V-BIOS in it. So when I went to update the drivers for that card, it black screened completely. That's because it had a third party V-BIOS that's in there. Okay? When you got a third party BIOS in your video cards, then you're going to get black screening. So if you're going to buy a card like the RX, let's say the RX 580, make sure it's a first party card and make sure AMD's got their stamp on it. So this way, when you go to upgrade the drivers, you don't get black screening. Black screening's caused by third party BIOS sets. These third parties recommend that you use AMD drivers, but they don't tell you the full deal. That, they might have unlocked something they shouldn't have, and it totally blacks the card out. So that is my personal belief on the AMD cards. Also, too, if you buy cards, secondhand cards, do remind you buy at your own risk when it comes to graphics cards or any kind of part for your PC when you buy it secondhand. If you buy it from eBay or you buy it from a private seller, make sure that, the card was well cared for. Make sure it was in a good environment, not a moisture environment. Make sure it's in a nice dry place that's like at around 70 to 80 degrees in temperature. Because when you buy a card, and what's been happening, and I've been seeing it, these reports that that these miners, they're washing down their discrete graphics card with the water hose. I don't know if that, I seen a couple footing on it from a couple different videos that they're actually taking a water hose to their graphics cards. Make sure you ask the question when you go to buy these graphics cards. One, always ask the question, has it been in a moisture environment? Has it ever been, washed down with water or anything else? Number one, never, ever, ever wash any kind of PC component with water. Always use Isperel alcohol to clean those PCBs. Never, ever use straight water. That is bad news. That'll make all those little fingers that's on there rust. One, so you never ever want to wash a graphics card or any kind of component you put into a PC with water. Just straight water. Do not do it. So that is one conclusion I'm going to give to you. Okay, and as far as AMD or NVIDIA, their graphics drivers or any kind of drivers, that's not the problem. That's not the issue, because just like your motherboard, it has a BIOS. The BIOS is programmed by the manufacturer of that board. Just like your PCB, it's set and locked into the memory of that chip for that card. There's nothing that's going to unlock it. So understand that. There's no driver. I have never heard of a driver software unlocking. Never heard of any driver software unlocking the VBIOS and its protocols. Now, it controls how it's supposed to be used. There's a different story. It only controls through your video, through overclocking capabilities for your monitor, but it's for the card itself to control all the mechanisms on that card. That's locked into the VBIOS. That's locked in by the manufacturer. Unless you get a VBIOS, a BIOS update for your discrete graphics card and change it yourself, that's the only way you're going to change the BIOS on a graphics card, is if you change it yourself. So I just want to clear the air. See that video I made a couple of videos ago with Chris Fix? He states that miner cards were being washed with water hoses, and then they got water soaked, and when the people plugged them in, not giving it enough time to heat, to let it sit idle. And make sure, if you know somebody washed your graphics card, please do yourself a favor, warm up the graphics card slowly. I've always learned to use a hair dryer and just slowly going over that with the hair dryer a little bit. That will take and alleviate some of the moisture that's in there out. But if you buy a graphics card, ask the question, has it ever been washed with water? Has it ever been mined on? And this and that. When you buy from eBay, you buy at your own risk. Even though that they say it's 30 days, you still buy at your own risk. So just to give you an idea, but when it comes to the driver software for AMD or NVIDIA, there's no problem so far. There's not been reported. And the only thing that was being reported was that problem was happening in Germany. It was on a small batch of 40 to 60 cards that were from a private seller. So it has nothing to do with anybody else's GPU, because nothing else is being reported right now. So, let's get past the naysay and get to the truth. And that's the truth. That was what was concluded on, that it was the batch of cards were from a private seller, which was a miner. So it was mining equipment that they bought. So now we're past that little bit about the driver and the driver update. I'm right now, like I showed you, I'm running on the 23.1.2 on this iGPU. When it comes to the graphics card, now I want you all to understand this. The way the graphics card works is this, and this is very important. What happens is if the driver software is not compatible with the graphics card, and when you go to boot up that driver software, it will automatically tell you that it's not compatible for that discrete graphics card. So if you go to try install it and it says it's not compatible with that discrete graphics card, then you know it's not compatible. And that's the way usually how AMD used to work, and how they still work, is that way you got to test each one of the drivers, and you go through every one of the drivers, which I went through a long series of drivers. Okay, I have a long series of drivers that I've downloaded to my PC and tested it here on my PC to see if they're compatible or they're not compatible. But so far, with integrated graphics, it seems to be compatible. So, but the one drawback I have right now about the new driver software, which I had the same little problem with the last bit of the driver software. So the 22.12.2 to the 23.1.2, it starts to increase slowly in your dedicated RAM that you have for your PC. It seems to be going up and up and up a little bit, using more of the dedicated RAM to support the software. So that is expected now. You have to expect that the driver software for AMD is going to consume a little bit more of the dedicated memory to run the program. So that's going to be expected as we go up in the newer brackets in the 7000 series. It's going to consume more RAM. So do be expected that sooner or later your PC is going to need to start running, instead of having 16 gigs of RAM, it's going to end up needing at least 32 gigs of RAM. So kind of transition yourself up to 32 gigs of RAM, which would be recommended, just to let you know that. And that's something I would recommend. Even if you're running DDR4, make sure you upgrade it from 16 to 32. If you got 4 slots, add 2 more 16 slots, 2 more 8 gig sticks into the 2 slots, which gives you another 16, which that'll give you 32 gigs of RAM. And make sure you match the RAM that you have now, match the RAM to the new RAM. Make sure they're all the same bin. Like I'm using the LPX, I'm using this RAM right here. It's right here. This is Corsair. I'm using their RAM. I can add 2 16 gig sticks to this, add 32 plus the 16. That'll make it 48 gigs of RAM. I'm thinking about putting two 16 gig sticks in here and make it 48 gigs of RAM. So this way I have a lot of RAM to play with. So in this way I can take and upscale the iGPU to be able to have more room to play with. At least it'll have a full 8 gigs of RAM, not dedicated, but when it needs it, it'll have it there for it to run. So that's how that runs. Basically, I got a graphics card built into the processor, and I'm happy with it right now. I mean, if I go to buy a discrete graphics card, you know what I'm giving up? I'm giving up PCIe. For this motherboard, I'm giving up PCIe 4.0 for 3.0x16. So it kind of makes sense to go with what I got here. So, but anyway, we're going to keep moving on down the road. But as far as drivers killing graphics cards, it's not doing that. That's just hearsay. So, also too, going through, let me go ahead and go through this really quick and go through the comments. I got a couple comments that come in this week. Okay. You got somebody that asked me, my first, when it comes to when I first started in my PC, basically I started out on the 286SX, okay, which was distributed in 1986. Which was made either in 84 or 85. But I got it in 1986. In 1984, I started with an Aquarius, all-in-one. It was like the keyboard. It was like a mini Commodore 64. Built all into one, you know. That was like, you know, the first time me doing that, you know, and so on. So, but that's happened in 1984. But in 1986, some friends of mine and me got together. We decided to do that dial-up thing and play games. While they were at, you know, we were at we were at our own home. So we were playing like little war games and stuff like that, little programs that my friends created. As far as playing peer-to-peer. Basically, we had it set up to where back then we were playing peer-to-peer over dial-up, which was really difficult because back then they didn't have all the structures that they had. So basically everything was pretty much hardwired up and ran through some filters and stuff like that, and you know, that's how we connected through dial-up. So everything was direct wired and hardwired in until they came up in the early 90s with 56K. The 56K running it through a modem, which was in the late 90s, early 91. But before then, they had what they call the phone dongle dial-up thing that you just set onto a phone little bracket thing, and then, you know, you punch in your numbers, and then the audio signal goes through a descrambling box and goes into the PC and blah blah. We didn't do that. We just went direct hardwire and through the RS-232 and went through that way and connected. But in 91, that's when the World Wide Web actually came about, was in 91. 86, it was being worked on. You know, they were working on it slowly. There's, you know, a couple places where they had little sites. If you had a way to connect, then you can connect to like a little junction site where everybody would have gone and had a little bit of fun. Basically, is like a little 3D world that everybody, you know, if they can connect, they can go to that little 3D world that was onto, you know, like a little server PC. So it was kind of confusing back then in those early ages, just to let you know. It was kind of confusing. But, you know, now it's a lot easier to get online and it's a lot easier to connect than it was back then. So that's the craziness of back then as the craziness is now. So if you're wondering how I started in PCs, I started like that. I started with the 286. So a 286 back then was like, you know, bytes to kilobytes. And now it's running in, you know, petabytes and everything else. So it's been crazy. But moving on down the road, question is brought to me: is 6000 series discrete graphics card owners, are you left out in the cold? Actually, no, you're not left out in the cold. It's just AMD did not post the rest of what they should have. And I'm just going to say this: AMD did not post the rest of what they were supposed to, you know. I feel they left something out when they just said that these new drivers were for the RX 7900 series only. I think they left something out. So, you know, to me, I think they left something out. I truthfully think they did. Okay, moving on down the road. I have my papers here so y'all can see that, you know, I got everything written down now, and it makes it a lot easier for me to go through, and, you know, at least y'all can see I've done a little bit of work on this. So, alright, how bad is the Samsung 990 Pro SSD M.2 on losing their data? Well, the thing is this: they had one or two complaints on it that, you know, and it come up to be like, you know, where somebody, you know, got the 990, they lost some data on it, and it wasn't holding data correctly. So they reached out to Samsung and told Samsung, hey, you got a problem with the drive, can you take a look and fix it? They took a look at it and then sent it back to them and told them nothing was wrong. Even though that the person knew there was something wrong with it, they pretty much washed their hands of it, and then they got on YouTube, made a video of it or whatever. I didn't see the video of it as of yet, but this is just hearsay from what I was hearing. But they say there is a little bit of problem with the M.2 drives on Samsung's 990 Pro. I haven't tested it myself, so I can't tell you if it's fake or real. So, but I'm going to let you know if you got any problems with it, make sure you tell Samsung so that way they can do an in-depth study of what's going on. So, I don't use Samsung, I use Crucial. Okay? Not a sponsor, but I use Crucial. Y'all see that? Y'all see that right there? It says Crucial. That's what I use right there. So, I ain't never had a problem with Crucial. This is going on the 5th month that this drive's in this computer over here. This computer right here. You know, that one right there. 5th month. Nothing wrong with the M.2 drive, and nothing wrong with the RAM that's for this computer, the Corsair Vengeance LPX CL16, 16 gigs of RAM for this computer. No problem. Okay. Up next is, how bad is NVIDIA's 4080 graphics cards prices? Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm going to save it for Graphics Card Nightmare, which is up on Saturdays, and then you all see the prices then and there. But as far as saying if it's a bad card, it's not a bad card. I'm going to tell you right now. AMD's 7900 XTX is not a bad card. AMD's 7900 XT is not a bad card. NVIDIA's RTX 4090 is not a bad card. NVIDIA's 4080 is not a bad card. NVIDIA's RX 4070 Ti is not a bad card. I'm not saying they're bad cards at all. It's just the prices. The price to performance is not matching. It's they're charging more price than they are giving performance. That's the problem everybody's having. It has nothing to do with the performance of the card itself. Take away the price. Take away the price of the cards and just say there's no price to the cards. Okay? Go by what the performance of the card is right then and there. Everybody has their own way of testing. Everybody has their own usage of how to use the cards. So for me to be, I'm going to be biased about this. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be like right down the middle of devil's advocate. Okay, I'm not going to tell you it's a bad card, and I'm not going to tell you it's a good card. Because one, I've never tested it, and two, from what I've seen, I've been hearing more good than bad. So what I hear is that it's doing better than worse. So if it's doing better than worse, then that's the best way to go. So if you're worried about the price of it, yes, they are pricey. But the thing is this, the way cost of economy is right now, the way your cost of the economy is, you might as well just hang it up because it's not going to change. Okay, the prices are not going to change, and that's what NVIDIA is quoting to everybody. The price is what it is, and just like the rest of the manufacturers, the price is going up on manufacturing because of the government. So just get it straight, and everybody has to bite the bullet when it comes to buying a new graphics card or a new processor or a new motherboard, RAM, and so on. You got to bite the bullet. That's just the way it is. So we just keep going. Prices will come down sooner or later as the cards get more seasoned. Prices should come down, but looking at the old, the last year's graphics cards that had already been out and seasoned, that's where everybody's having the problem, because those prices are not really coming down, and everybody sees this, and they're looking, well, about 5 years down the road, that's when prices will probably come down, but they ain't got 5 years to wait. And then, like AMD and NVIDIA has to understand, people don't have a long time to wait just to get theirself a good graphics card. I mean, you got billions of people here wanting to get PC parts, but in order to make that billions into trillions, then you basically got to bite the bullet, bring the price down, and make everybody happy like your consumers. And that's the way I shop. I shop just like the consumer does when it comes to the prices. Now, with the 4080, the 4070 Ti, the 4090, the RX 7900 XTX, and the 7900 XT, those are the newest price cards that are on the market right now. So their prices are being brought up by the AIB partners that are making different type of graphics cards for, show and everything else, and you have to understand it's for show. And that doesn't buy performance. Okay, you want to buy performance, then, take away the bling to the card, and then you're going to get nothing but performance. But what the AIB partners put in there is a little bit of performance, but with a lot of bling. And that's what you're paying for. So if you want something just straight and wholesome and it's not full of bling and everything else and it's just bare bone down to the Founders Edition set, then get a Founders Edition card. With no bling, no BS, just straight up the driver software, the video card, plug in your system and go. Simple said and put. If you want to add bling, then do yourself a favor. Just get one of those light strips, connect it with your fan controller, and connect 6 fans and make sure they're all RGB. You really don't need any more RGB than that. Even if you've seen my computer build, which you probably have, then you'll see that I did a video on this, and you'll see that the only bling and RGB that I got are the fans and that one light strip. That's it. There is no other bling. There's no RAM bling. You know, I have no RGB on my RAM. I have no RGB on the motherboard. I have no RGB anywhere but my 6 fans, the fan that comes with the heat sink, and the light strip. That's it. So there's nothing that's going to take away from the performance of the computer. From the motherboard, there's nothing taken away from the performance. So just to let you know, if a 4080 is a good deal, yes. Does it have what it takes? Yes. Is it good for content creating? Yes. So there's your answer. Does it have good driver software? Kinda. So you want honesty? There's honesty. I'm giving you honesty. You want to know about what the card's about? That's what the card's about. It gives you AV1 encoding, which gives H.264 or something like that encoding as well. If you're doing YouTube videos, if you're doing content creating and stuff like that, 4080 is good. The 4090 is great. The 4070 Ti is kind of okay. So there's my answer to those cards. Now, graphics card wise, what I use again, the Ryzen 5 5600G. And that has integrated graphics. I used integrated graphics so I don't go through the headache of having to deal with an extra video card. That's the thing. That's the reason why I haven't gotten a discrete graphics card, because my integrated graphics does just as good as the discrete graphics. The only difference is I can't control in Windows how the integrated graphics integrated graphics on the processor works. I have to do everything through the BIOS. So I set everything up to the max on the BIOS. Boom, done. When it comes to the amount of RAM for the iGPU, I set it to auto. Boom, done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. This is just an everyday usage kind of computer with a little bit of gaming and do a little content creating. That's all I needed right there. B450 Asus motherboard, done. Ryzen 5 5600G processor, done. Those two alone are less than $200, maybe cheaper now, and the RAM's only $52. So you add that together with a $50 M.2 card, boom, there's your computer. So, and you get 6 fans for $30, $37 with the light strip, boom, you're done there. You know, I mean, and the case, $49, done. It's an airflowed case. I mean, what, you got less than, what, 400 or 500 into the computer? Done. Simple said and put. Does good gaming for me. I mean, I run OpenGL games. I don't run DirectX 12 games. OpenGL is good enough for me. You know, I don't have no problem with OpenGL. Running DirectX 12, I have no problem running that. Running DirectX 11, I have no problem running that. DX9, I have no problem with DX9. So 9, 10, 11, and 12. No problem. Okay, is it fast? Really fast? No. It's just as fast as you want it. On the low, it does about 39. Sometimes it'll go down to 25, 24 on the very low. And on the high side, it does all the way up to 300 FPS. So, depending on the game, every game is different because it has different respects to how much FPS you can get from the game. I run 1080p, boom, done. I don't have to worry about, I need 1440p, I need 3K, I need 4K, 5K, I need 800K. Why do I need so many screens? That's the thing. I don't need hundreds of screens. I got one screen. One. Y'all see this finger? One screen, 1080p. That's it. That's the basic standard, 1080p. If you want to run 1440p, go ahead. Get a little. You think you're going to get a little bit more FPS out of 1440p? I doubt it. Unless you're running the newest graphics cards, maybe the 4070 Ti would probably be good at 1440p. But when it comes to 1080p, then stay with your NVIDIA 30 series graphics cards if you want to do 1080p. 1440p, 4070 Ti, you want to run 4K, then run the 4080 or the 4090. That's on NVIDIA's side. When it comes to AMD is a little bit different. AMD will still run good at 1080p as well as all the way up to 4K. 4K, it's a little bit slower, so try to run yourself 1440p. So, I think from 1440p and down, that's going to be more or less like AMD. But 4K, I don't think they're there yet. My opinion, don't quote me on it, but it's just my opinion. Moving on down the road. Let's see. Wow, we went through 49 minutes already. Wow. Well, I was hoping to get more than I did in the room today. And I hope to get more the next week, because we're going to be doing this once a week on Thursdays. We're going to do it for about an hour. So I'm trying to hit the hour mark, because at about maybe 2:05, 2:10, 2:15, if people start rolling in and I get a good amount in this room, then I'm thinking about I'll keep it going for an extra hour just to keep y'all in the room and so we can have some fun. We do have, and believe it or not, just to tell you, YouTube does allow us up to 12 hours. So if I ever want to do like a 12-hour stream, I could do a 12-hour stream. And I hope everybody's getting in on the stream. And I hope everybody doesn't get it wrong. The reason why and there's a purpose why that I say you have to subscribe, is because I want you to become part of the family. I want you to subscribe, be part of the family, so this way you don't miss out on anything. That's the reason why people jump into the room, they look and they say, I have to subscribe. I'm not going to be a part of that. Well, you know what? That's the best way to do it if you want to be a part of something. Instead of flopping to video to video to video to video, you can have your own fun in one room. That's the way I've learned it. When I play on Second Life, we're all in one club. I'm DJing, I'm having fun, and yes, I do DJ. So there it is. Okay, last little bit we are going to be rolling on. The new Ryzen CPUs, the 7950 X3D, the 7900 X3D, the 7800 X3D. Supposed to be coming out in February, which will be probably in 4 or 5 more days. Hopefully sooner. But they said in February. They don't know when. Okay? So in 5 or 6 days will be February the 1st. So sometime in February it will be coming out. We don't know the price or anything. They might extend it to March. So we don't know what they're going to do. So once I know, I will make sure I let you all know. But as far as performance wise, they said they're going to be a good performer. We're going to go ahead and switch the screen again to the action screen. Okay. Now, like they said, the Ryzen 9 right here, the 7950X3D, they don't know the price. It's going to be 16 core, 32 thread. And it's going to be base clocked at 4.2 to 5.7. That's in gigahertz. That's going to be right above the i9 3900K or KF, which is at $589 for the K version. And the KF version is $564. Okay. So, and that's going to have 24 core, 32 thread, 8 plus 16 on the 24, and 32 E cores. I'm still a little, I still can't get over the fact that, they got, performance cores and efficiency cores. Instead of just doing it like, saying you have performance cores and performance threads, just cores and threads. It would have been simpler, but they don't make it simple. So that's supposed to boost up to from 3.0 base clock to 5.8 gigahertz to the top. Okay, understand that's their performance, but I know better that you could probably get 100,000 more megahertz out of it. Maybe 200,000 more megahertz out of it, to make it up to like a 6.0 chip. 9 out of 10 chances they got the KS out there, the Ryzen 9 3900 KS, that goes up to 6 gigahertz. So don't think that, this version can't get up there. So, but moving on down the road, pricing wise, okay, the 7950X and the 7900 3D, I can't compare the 7950X to the 7900 3D. The 7900 3D I can probably compare to the 7900X, which does have 12 core, 24 threads, which the 7900X has got a higher base clock with the 4.7 compared to the 3D, which has 4.4. They both clock out at 5.6 gigahertz. The i7 3700K and KF, again, a $409 K version and a $384 KF version, which has got 16 by 24, 8 plus 8 on the PE core side. The base clock's 3.4 gigahertz up to 5.4 gigahertz on the turbo. And so on. You can see the chart here. You can pause it if you want to see the rest of it. But I'm just letting you know what's there. And as far as that, it depends on which way you want to go. I can see everybody's going to want to run to the Intel part of it, because I've been pricing out some Intel motherboards compared to AMD's Ryzen boards and stuff like that. I'm starting to think that I might want my next PC is going to be an Intel PC with the newest, a 12th gen processor, like a 600 series motherboard. And I'm still going to try to stay with, the DDR4 in the RAM instead of the DDR5. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I kind of recovered. Hello, I'm enjoying this live session with work. I'm glad you're doing that, RC. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm just chatting away about the things that are going on right now that everybody's got to see, you know what I mean? So, just to let you know, yeah, I did click offline, so I just got back on again. It's acting a little crazy, but yeah, I read what you wrote there. I'm just bringing up a couple points that, about the new Ryzen X3D chips, oh yeah, if y'all watch that cat video, make sure you do it. And the answer to the equation. The answer to the equation of that video was the cat was looking at GPU prices. So if you wrote GPU prices in on that video, you wrote it down in the description, and left a comment on the video, it was GPU prices. So just to let you know that. But we are going to have another live video next week, same time, right here at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do remember to be here. I will post a reminder. And when it comes to the whole purpose of me putting on that everybody has to subscribe, is to get you to subscribe to be a part of the family. It's not forcing you to pay anything. I haven't asked anybody for any money or anything. I'm not even monetized yet, so I can't ask anybody for money, just to let you know. So when we go monetized, I will reverse this, and I'll make sure that, I don't have everybody paying out the yazoo about anything. So, but anyway, as far as any other news that's coming up past February, the only thing I can see coming out would be the NVIDIA RTX 4060 Ti or the NVIDIA 4070, RTX 4070. Might be coming out next. They said the 4070 was supposed to come out in February. They said it's supposed to come out in February. So I don't know if they're gonna have the 4070 coming out in February. That's gonna be something new that I didn't expect. But when we find out, we'll make sure we let you all know that who's going to be out and what's going to be going on. Upcoming, what I got coming out this week will be on Saturday. Y'all know Graphics Card Nightmares. I will have that on Saturday to let y'all know what the most recent prices on graphics cards are right now. That will be coming up on Saturday. But the rest of this week, like Friday and Sunday, we'll see. It all depends on what comes up into the news. So if I got something that comes up that's really good, we'll make sure that you get all the top information, so that way you know what's going on. So, now RC, you got any questions out there or concerns? You want them, just type it in. Let me know what what you think. As far as with this YouTube streaming, I'm trying to get it to go. A 790 motherboard with my Stark C790 Mobo for the 13th gen chip I got. That's a good question. See, now this is going to be the drill. This is going to be the thing. If you got the 13th gen, that's going to be to which motherboard's going to allow you to overclock. Do you like to do overclocking or don't you like to do overclocking? That's going to be the choice you have to make. If you want an overclocking motherboard, then, it's best to go that route than it is to leave the performance on the table and to get a non-clocking motherboard that's going to do you no justice. So as far as the 790, I think those are pretty much overclockable for the 790s. But the 13th gen, make sure it's either a K version. See, that's the good thing. I mean, with Intel, is that if you get the non-K or the non-KF version, then it's a locked chip. But if you get the K version or you get the KF version, it should be unlocked. I know the K version's unlocked, but I'm not too sure on the KF version now. Intel's been changing a couple things up the last couple days. So you might want to think about if you're just going to get the K version or the KF. Right, K, which is true. K is unlocked. But the KF, some KFs on 12th gen were unlocked. That's something to think too. Now, if you got the K version on the 13th gen, make sure the motherboard has unlocking features, so it matches with your processor. And I think the 790 would probably be your better bet. 690E, I mean, it depends on how much you want to spend. Okay, do get that right. If you can afford to go up to that 790 and it's unlocked and it has more performance, then I would go with it. I mean, if you're gonna leave performance on the table for a whole $50, then that makes no sense. I mean, but if you're gonna go forward and get something better that's unlocked for, like, let's say, just for an example, $50 more. Just an example, if you get one board, let's say you have the Z690 and then you get the Z790, or I think it's the Z790. I'd have to look. But and it's only like maybe a $30 or $40 difference. You would have been better off to go with the higher motherboard. But if it's like $100 to $200 difference, then I would have stuck with what you had. So if that's what answer you want from me, that's what I would have done. If there was a $50 or less difference, then that would have been worth it. But if it's not, and it's like $200 to $300 difference, then I would kind of think again about going that route. Unless it comes to the motherboard itself, the one you have is locked. Now, if the motherboard you have is locked, then that's another problem too. So basically, you want to move to the next motherboard that's unlocked for you. Even if you're not an enthusiast or overclocker, but you love your gaming and everything else, there's gonna come a time. 790 is $495, 690 is $349. So there's only like $150 difference. Oh, from I bet you're going from Amazon to Newegg. Oh, at Newegg. Best to go with Micro Center. If you can get that 790 board at Micro Center for $379, which I'm going to take a look. I'm going to, while we're here and I'm, doing this with you, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a look at Micro Center. Let's see, Micro Center. Oh, hell. Okay. Okay. That was weird. Let me go ahead and switch screens real quick. Okay, let's see. Let's move it on down over here. Move it up over here. That's good enough. Okay, let's go ahead and go with Micro Center and have a peek. Really quick. Let's say the 790. Yeah. Let's see what they got for the no. Oh my God. Okay, motherboards. Intel. Okay, well, if you want the Z70i, they got it for $469. They got the Z790M, which is $199. Okay, they got it for $199. They got the B760M for $159. They got the Z790 for $699, the B760, and the B760M for $119. Now, that's still not a bad deal when it comes to the motherboards. Let's just put all motherboards to see what they got. And let's tag in Intel Z790. Don't look like it's got much. Let's just go through it all. And they got the B650E for $329. Okay. B650 for $269. They got the Z790M for $199. Only thing you got to do is make sure that they're unlocked. The motherboards are unlocked and they're ready to roll for you. I mean, that would be the best thing I would say to do, to make sure that it's unlocked for you. So if you can get the 790 for a good price, and that's the board you want, then that's the best thing. That's the best thing to do, is get what you want. Me, I'm the kind of person that likes to stick with the B style motherboard, even though that it doesn't have all the features that the Z style motherboards have. I kind of like being at the, with the B style motherboards, just to let you know that. But if you're getting a better price than, then we can go to Amazon. I love shopping at Amazon. You know, that's because they give you discounts. Amazon does. They give you U.S. Oh, no. Right here. There we go. Okay. So we type in Intel motherboards. Let's see. See, there's for the 1111. Let's see. 13th gen. Okay. So, got. Now remember, these 13 gens are supposed to plug into the 12th gen motherboards. I mean, they got 213. They got right here the LGA 1700 for 124. ASRock. They got a combo here. They got the Gigabyte B660. They got, they don't have too many, but they do have some. So, depends on what you want to plug into. You know what I'm saying? So, go back and go through Newegg. And I will not go through eBay. Let's see. Yeah, they got it for $4.99. Right here, they got this one for the Z790A. They got this for $309. Hopefully that's unlocked. They got the P version for $249. They got the right here $199. Well, it should be. That's Asus. That's Asus. They should be right on top of, I mean, it should be right on top of the game. This one right here is a B760 Asus ROG Strix B760i gaming. So it's a 760. They got the Asus TUF Z790 Plus Wi-Fi. Asus has never let me down. Okay, Asus has never let me down. I'm running the B450 Asus motherboard here, the Prime B450. That's what I'm running for my system, doing this right now. So, exactly, same here. I only use Asus. Yeah, I agree with you. To me, it's the easiest motherboard I have ever worked with in a long time. In a very long time. So, looking at the prices are not bad. I mean, Anybody that's looking for the 12th and 13th gen, right here, 159. I mean, if you want to use, you want something basic, right here. Right here, 159. The Asus Prime B760 Plus D4 Intel B760 13th and 12th gen LGA 1700 ATX motherboard. Boom, 159. Asus for the win. Asus for the win. So, I do agree. Don't get me wrong, there's ASRock, there's MSI, there's Gigabyte, there's many out there, that, I have not sampled yet, but I will in time. I will be sampling them in time just to see what they're about. So, that's going to come in time. We'll see what happens in time. So, alrighty. Well, I'm down on time because I got a lot of things going on today. But next week, I want y'all to be ready, and I hope y'all be here. We're going to do this again, 11 o'clock here on Thursdays. 11 o'clock on Thursdays. Live streaming. So if this is your first time watching this video, make sure you subscribe. It's going to be more important. You're welcome, RC. You're welcome. Make sure you come back next week. We're going to have another live stream. So be here next week. It'll be much appreciated. Y'all be here next week. We got more videos coming out this week. So y'all make sure you have a fine and awesome day. And stay safe. And we will see you on the next live stream and regular videos. Have a great evening.